Hi guys, welcome back. Hope you guys are doing great. I'm very much excited to come back to share a couple of new things. So in the previous session, I have explained about the outline. So in this session also I'm going to use the keyword outline once again, but this time outline is going to print out in a better format, something like a table format. So now we can have a look at this. In this case, we can see it is this information is given in a box format. Sometimes what happens, like if we go and see this information in a box format, table format, how good it looks like. Hope you guys like it. Yeah. So the more I am exploring about the ChatGPT, I'm finding more new ways to better automate things and to use certain things in much better way. So in this session, I'm going to share a couple of new things once again. I hope this session is going to be interesting. Yeah. Some time ago, I was explaining about AS Node, and AS Node comes with 350 plus functions. So certain functions I already given documentation like doc strings. So what each function does, so while looking at this simple format, we can see what this particular function does. So this documentation I have generated using Sphinx module, and yeah, this is another format. I have used same thing here also. Some time ago, I have shared a couple of videos on this topic. So go ahead and look at those videos. Make best use of this information to generate auto documentation. So before jumping into discuss these things, let me quickly go over a couple of things. So in this session, what are all the highlights I'm going to discuss? So the first and foremost thing is to utilize ChatGPT to print things in a table format. Then we can take those things to LibreOffice documentation. So easily we can manage that kind of data. Then we can go ahead and see how ChatGPT is able to interpret things like short forms. So we all have seen while doing chatting on WhatsApp, hey guy, hi bro, great. We can use to certain things quickly type, use short forms. Like in this case, we can look at great GR8. So that means great in WhatsApp chats. So similarly, we can see in our case also, like when it comes to AS node, there are literally 350 plus functions are there. When I have explained about those functions, I can go into more details. Then we can go ahead and see import and export options both can be handled within the same query. The moment we initiate certain query for export to script, same query we can use it for importing script also. So because ChatGPT knows what it is exporting, what format it is exporting, since it knows in the same chart, it's going to give us an import function also in the same chart. So earlier I was raising these two things separately, but in this case we can go ahead and look at those things. Then ChatGPT is useful for writing doc strings. This is one of the main things in this session. It is going to be. Um, Literally a lot of functions we will write for a class like a meta class. So in this session, how fast it is, how quick we can generate those doc strings, which are very much meaningful in nature. Then we can discuss about how ChatGPT and Sphinx can go together to better help in our day-to-day tasks like automating certain documentation process. So now let's go ahead and look at this simple chat. In this case, I'm querying what is GR8. So then ChatGPT was replying I don't know what do you mean by GR8. Could you please give me some more information? So then I was saying it like in the context of WhatsApp chat. So this is going to be used somewhere like. So then ChatGPT is replying me like GR8 is likely short form for great, and it is used as informal way to express enthusiasm, approval, kind of. So it is trying to explain what it means, why people will give that kind of great, like when they say what they mean. So everything it is trying to explain us in very simple terms. So then, so why I'm saying this means, like I said, AS node comes with the 350 plus functions. For example, let us go and quickly look at a couple of things here. So in this case, if we go and check this add ATTR divider, like so just like how GR8 is there, great. Like so in this case also add ATTR. I am not giving attribute. Uh, I'm just giving divider. So I'm not giving or saying anything. So again, I'm saying like extension and joint, add prefix, add skin influence and all. Then we can go ahead and see how ChatGPT will interpret these short forms. So one more example, we can see it like center pivot. Like so, we have to pivot should be centered. Child connecting ATTR attribute query. So ASOBJ means as object I want it back, like as a locator I want to give it back. So some time ago I was discussing about these things, like the moment I started writing meta class for AS node. So what I thought, like I'm closely observing how artists are using certain words on a day-to-day basis, like apply control color. So someone may say like differently, like let us paint color to control, right? So yeah, mostly people will say apply control color. Then certain guys may say like delete history. So a couple of artists may tell like remove this, delete this from the scene, like so. So how artists are using on a day-to-day basis, some general terms, frequently used words. I use it to just grab those words. That's how I have given certain names to these functions. So in a short form, very short form. So and then this is something I have written somewhere around 10 years ago. But yeah, till date, those words, short forms, uh, I'm very much habituated to those. But at the same time, I'm very much happy to see that ChatGPT is interpreting those very effectively. The way when I'm writing these functions, I had some intention like this should indicate this meaning, like right. So when ChatGPT is going to understand what I mean, like so in this case, what I'm trying to tell through this function. So when it understands exactly the way I want, so that is something exactly I want. So I'm pretty much happy to see that the ChatGPT is going to interpret those short forms also. Yeah, then we can go ahead and see all those things. So initially I was querying in a simple way, like export channel backs values for Autodesk Maya. Then it is straight away writing. Some a couple of functions I have written this way. Then I was thinking to use outline to print out in a table format. So we can see quickly, like I'm requesting here, like print out in a table format. So then use table format for a function and a description, like a dictionary key value pair. So then I was saying like use AS node in place of meta class node in description. We can quickly go and raise this query one more time how it writes. So yeah, let me go ahead right away and quickly see that. Let me go to new chat. So this time what I am doing, I am just removing this line and just going ahead and asking this thing. So here, this particular meta class is going to have these four functions. I'm trying to give simple way, like so. In that case, what it is describing, like I'm just querying. In this case, like I'm asking to give me some outline. I'm going to use these four functions in this meta class, right? So then what ChatGPT is going to tell me, like add ATTR. This function adds an attribute to the meta class node. So every time it is going to use meta class node, I have seen that. So add ATTR divider. So in this case, this function adds a divider line to meta class node to visually separate a different group of attributes. So it makes sense, right? So that is what I want to convey the message when I am giving this name. So exactly ChatGPT is also telling me same thing. This is something it is interpreting. So what I am thinking. So then add child. Add this function add child node to the meta class node. Then I'm asking like add extension and joint. Like this function adds an extension joint to the meta class node. Suppose in this case meta class node is a joint, means it is adding one more end joint, right? So that's how it is. So in this case what I observed, like every time it is telling like meta class node, meta class node, the meta class node, the meta class node. So that is something I don't want. So then I came back and see over here, like so here I am using use AS node in place of, so it was printing out the same way. So now we can see, sorry, guys. Yeah, now we can see. Then I changed my query slightly. I have added one more thing. So it is easy now, just typing one line here instead of changing going and everywhere like meta class node replace with AS node and that. So just when I raised this additional query here, it is saying like, so this time it is not saying meta class node. It is saying like add attribute to the AS node object, add divider to the AS node object, visually separate attributes. So in this case, what's happening, like, so it is understanding exactly what I want. So when I'm conveying this message to my colleague developer or my another artist, the way how they understood what I am asking, same way ChatGPT is also understanding my request here. So I feel like I'm chatting with my friend. Maybe I'm chatting with one of the developers here. Like, yeah, that sounds great. It's really awesome. Uh, So then I have given more, this time earlier I have given only four functions. This time I have input required class functions, so many, literally 350 plus functions over here. Then suddenly it was saying like, I apologize, sorry, I couldn't process this is too lengthy list, like it was saying. Then in a day-to-day case, what I can tell my friend, like, so okay, go and execute 20% of the this list, out of this list, go and execute 20%. So instead of I go over here and every time I copy this many functions, then I should come back and remember, oh, earlier I copied up to here, I have to copy again from here. So instead of doing this kind of manual work, what we can do, I asked like a list can be 20%. So it has given those things to me. Like here we can see like a connected vertices. If it is the AS node is a vertex, it can say like return the connected vertices to that AS node object. In this case, AS node is nothing but a vertex. Maybe it can be an edge also. So then constraint to, it is saying like constraints the AS node to object to the specified object. So CV means it is I feel like I am requesting a CV, return a specified control vertex of the AS node. Delete means deleting the AS node object itself. That's what exactly I mean. Delete ATR means delete the specified attribute of AS node. Then delete history, delete the history. Mostly these are very thing. But when it comes to key, what I mean key means it is a keyframe of that particular object at that particular time. So then delete node, again it is the same like a delete. Deselect means deselect the AS node. So exactly the way I want to convey, utilize this center pivot, we can see it over centers the pivot of the AS node. Like A is locator, like converts AS node object to a locator. Like in place of object, I want one locator as a placer. So then add suffix means add suffix as a skin influence. So a lot of things it is then. Then I came to go and check it like next 20% I am requesting. So at some point of time I am just trying like up arrow. It's not working. So let me try one more example here, like what I mean by up arrow. So in a day-to-day, when we are writing certain things like print hi, okay, then I want to type same thing. I can use a control up arrow. In this case, I can add a small correction and then I can enter, right? So same way, I was just trying up arrow here. So maybe in the next versions of ChatGPT, we may come across just control up arrow or straight away up arrow. It's going to give me a previous query here. I can slightly edit here, then I can get whatever I want. So in this case, full name means it is saying like returns the full name of AS node here, then get children, get closest distance mesh. So this is something interesting. Returns the distance between closest point on the mesh from AS node object, right? Exactly. Then let me go and see like a get length, returns the length of AS node. If it is a joint, it can get inputs, return the input connections. I just asked inputs, but it is saying input connections, right? Exactly, that's what I mean. Get group means, or mostly group means it is a kind of returns parent group. But in my case, what I am thinking like I add one more group on top of the node. Slightly there is a difference, but it's okay. I can go and correct it. Then get pose locator returns the position of the locator associated with the AS node. Like it's like a position indicator, kind of. Then get pose vertex return the position of specified vertex. So then go ahead and get siblings, returns the siblings of the S node object. Perfect. It's doing like what exactly I mean, what exactly I want, it's going to give. Similarly, get sibling index means returns the index of the S node object among its siblings, right? It is a first sib or a second sib. Perfect, man. It's like really cool thing to see, like what exactly I want, it is understanding. Many years ago, I have written these short forms. Now I'm very much happy, like to see these things are like yes, understandable by many others and as well as by ChatGPT. So in this case, is child of I'm asking, like this is something I got it from PyML Pynode. Then is component of certain things. Component means in this case it is saying like vertex edge jar face. Otherwise something else like is connected, is constrained, returns true if AS node object is constrained, false otherwise. Perfect, right? So I'm just querying like whether it is this object is constrained to something or not. So it is going to return. So now what I can go and see, like then I can just typing next 20%, next 20%. Then I observed later that in between these two things, a couple of 5 to 10 functions are missing. Then I tried a different approach to resolve that issue. So one thing is like a printing in this format, pretty much useful. Then I have copied and brought it over to this particular LibreOffice document. So just I have just simply added here, copy pasted. So I feel like yes, my documentation is ready in no time, right? Normally I will take a couple of days to write this much documentation for all literally 350 functions, but in this case it's doing the job in just 2-3 minutes. So that's something I'm pretty much happy with it. And then yeah, this is something I want to share with you guys. So you guys can go ahead and look at those things, whatever the documentation I'm putting on my website. Go and go through those videos and documentation, make best use of this place. One thing I'm pretty much happy about ChatGPT is like when we look at our regular pipeline, like modeling, rigging, texturing, animation. In each pipeline, we can see certain boring tasks like a manual task, repetitive tasks, very much boring. Certain tasks. So in that case, what will come, like artist can come to a developer, ask for a automation tool, will write like. So same thing over a period of years, maybe 10 years, what happens? So what happens, like even within automation, within the tool development process, we use it to use some repetitive keywords like class word, we will use it. Then after the class, certain maybe a certain set of functions will be adding. So these are common things, right? Whatever we know as a common, why can't we automate those? That's my initial thought. While I started making a series of videos on this particular topic. So yeah, then let's go ahead and see a couple of other things. So then what I tried, instead of using 20% this much, I tried different approach one more time. So this time it's not rejecting my request. It is just went ahead and printed out a lot of things. So edge means I have given EDG, but it has interpreted as edge, access the edge of an object. So extract number means extract the number from the object's name if number is available, like a feather number 10, something like. Then get children means returns the list of children nodes. So get closest pose curve means my idea is like a nearest point on the curve from this object. So yeah, this time it is saying object instead of AS node, but yeah, we can correct that also a bit later. Then yeah, a lot of things which you can go and hide means hide that same object. Is component, it is asking whether a given object is a component. Suppose my AS node is a vertex means it will return like it is a component. So then is connected, is constraint, is edge, is last joint, returns whether the object is the last joint in a chain. So when I'm asking last joint means it is just interpreting like it might have been in a chain. Then if it is, what if it is a last joint? So that's how it is going to think about. So just like a real human, how we think of, same way it is going to think about existing system, possible context, in which context we are trying to querying. So yeah, that's it. So there are so many things. Then I tried. I'm pretty much happy the way it has given table format. Then this is the very first query. Sorry, I have just tried now. Then I went ahead and I was trying to query like strip numbers. So stripping numbers means, let me explain this quickly. In Maya, normally what happens, so this is the strip nums, the script it has generated. I just commented this particular portion. So normally when I go and request the modeling guy to add a couple of feathers, what he will do, in some of the times what he will do, maybe these 4 feathers, quickly he can go and he can try it out like control D, right? So normally that's how modelers will do. So when the moment we can go ahead and see this, like so it will be adding n number, right? So if I go and try this directly, since the same number is existed, it can't change. So even though if it is tries to change it, it's not changing, right? So then what I did was I just went ahead and modify search replace. Okay. In this case, I am using hierarchy instead of 0, 11. So it is already 14. Then I am giving 15. So entire hierarchy is changing. Okay. Then I am going ahead and just changing, and this time 16. Apply. So then I am going ahead and see this 13 and 17. Okay. So that's how, if I go and drag select these 4 things and if I run the script, I can see that it is removing that end numbers, like it is stripping out that end numbers, it is giving me. It didn't change because 14 already existed here, so end number it is keeping. So here in this case, what I am doing 2 things manually. One is I am changing this middle number 15, 16, 17, and then I am stripping out these numbers. Instead of doing these things, I am just deleting this again. Some time ago, I have written this tool. So like a duplicate hierarchy. So I can go any place within this series. Even if I go ahead and duplicate this entire hierarchy, it will give me that series number, like a duplicate hierarchy or only parent we can mention. If I go, sometimes I need to duplicate only the parent. In this case, I want entire hierarchy. So we can see that after 14, 15 number is still available number. So it quickly went up and duplicated that with 15. So whatever the node you can go, this time I can take it 5, and I can go and duplicate this hierarchy one more time. This is giving 16. So there is no end digits, and then it is very clean, right? So entire hierarchy with a new number series it is giving. So sometimes what happens, I just don't want this way. I want to duplicate this particular group with the transform values, but I just wanted to duplicate only the parent only. So it is giving me only the parent, but again with the next series number it is giving me, right? So I can use this group for something else. So practically I come across this kind of requirements many times. So in this case, I thought let me go ahead and check it. So a couple of days ago, I just come across this requirement. Then I found that okay, let me simply automate it. So then what I did was like suppose let me go ahead this particular group, these first two groups, okay, first two groups, and then I generated export to transport value, transform values, TRS, translation, rotation, and scaling. So I can check this one. Sorry, not this one. So open current path, this is something I always use it. It is very much helpful. So let me go to this library. This is where it is going to, wherever I opened this one. So sorry, not this one, once again. So this time I have given exactly the path here. So I can see that these are the groups and values are exported in this .py format. So if I go and just pull these two things out outside, and let me change those values like particular this one. So the moment I go and come back, run this import to TRS, transport, rotation, and scaling. So both the scripts are generated in a single query. Okay, then if I go and run, it will go and select those two things. So yeah, it came back to same place when I imported those transform values has come back. So in this case, when I run the script, it is not selecting the objects. Even though after importing those values, it is not selecting. Then I went up and I have queried like I raised one more query like file name, object list, translation, rotation. It is explaining those augments. It is giving me detailed information over here. Then I come over here. So select objects during after import. Maybe yes, I can say select objects after import. So it is saying like import TRS function. I am going to update according to your new requirement. So it is created some empty list over here. So once it is created, it is adding to that list particular each object. So whatever the information it is reading from the .py file, then once that import is done, it is going to select those objects. So this is something I have tried one more time. Now we can go ahead and copy this function, and Let me try one more time. Okay, this time I'm just going and running. So before running the script, there is no selection over here. So when I run the script, we can see that these two objects are selected. So it's doing a literally pretty clean job. Every time I can go and with a little bit uh, changing options, changes in my query. It's really doing great job. Then strip and numbers. So this is the script I have requested. Write me rename selected nodes with the numbers strip it has given. So then I was saying like initially it was removing all the numbers within the string. Then I was saying like it should only remove n digits. Then it has updated r strip again. So it's worked well for me. So then I have commented up to it is something I don't want. So yeah, it does really pretty job. Then so let me go and query this thing one more time, like again, without giving any information or anything. If I go and query what it does, let me try it again. So there is another thing we can go and edit our main query. So in this case, I'm just reinitializing this particular query. When I do save and submit, maybe it is not helping. I need to refresh again. So let me this thing edit this thing. When I does say something is wrong, let me go a new thread. Normally it works that way. When I go and search a script to create a meta class, then give me an outline. So it was explaining very decent way, like a brief overview of PyML style, like PyNode in PyML. I am giving some information. So something that is you can look into. So something similar to that I want this AS node for me. So it is saying like a defining meta class node, then start to using this one like a self data obj in a particular variables or methods comes something like this way. Mm, then it is saying like meta class, adding meta class node to the object. So yeah, it was explaining very pretty much the way I want. So if I want more information, I can go and ask regenerate. So this time it may print out to like use a new method like under new. So this time you see it is giving me in a table format. Since a couple of times I was asking for table format, so this time it was thinking like maybe I like table format. So better let me explain in that format. So yeah, pretty good. And sometimes use this outline keyword to better understand the context and everything. So whatever the knowledge you had, whatever the information you had, use it, and at the same time get some other additional inputs from ChatGPT. Then quickly we can go ahead and we can raise this one more query. So this case, if we want to go entirely with new query, instead of refreshing the page, you can use the same page. Just save and submit. It will start fresh thread one more time. So I'm asking in this case, like in animation pipeline, can I have uh, so we can check it like when I was asking for 10 plus ideas to build some tools like for animation pipeline, it was saying like use write a tool for pose library, keyframe interpolation, facial animation, walk cycle generation, IKFK switching. Mostly animators will use these things. Animatic generation, lip sync. So a lot of things it is giving. So motion capture cleanup, because these are certain things which are pretty much needed for animator. Then I am coming over here and rigging pipeline. Can you recommend me some tools? I can go and quickly edit this one, and I can reinitiate my query. So this time again it is giving me in a such a like a table format. So since I am requesting description each in table format, so automation character rigger means auto rig tool it is suggesting rig scaling tool, maybe constraint manager. At a times we need to manage with constraints like export and import certain constraint. This particular tool might be useful after rebuilding the setup. So yeah, again I get some network error. So it is continuing from there, like regularing tool, uh, pose library tool for riggers. Maybe it is useful during facial animation time, maybe some other pose checking time to test our rig for with various poses. Then it is showing blend shape manager. So yeah, that's how, guys. You can use ChatGPT for various of your needs. You can build while building logic. You can get the help from ChatGPT. Rig cleaning tool, you see. So most of the times rigs needs a cleanup. So it is mentioning like why can't you write one rig cleaning tool? Then rig import or export tool, like rig we can export for a cleanup purpose. So a lot of things are there. So just go ahead and make use of this site for your best advantage. I hope you guys enjoyed this session. Thank you, guys.